Rise Against, Nowhere Generation. If that isn't the perfect combining description of millennials and Gen Z, then I don't know what is. We all might dislike each other, but one thing's for sure, most of us are going nowhere. Rise Against has been driving their social commentary messages in punk rock since their debut in 2001. 20 years later, the band is still bringing awareness about society, the machine, and in this case, our current generation, which has many 20 and 30-year-olds left waiting while being at odds with previous generations. Boomers versus Gen Z and millennials was a big theme over the past year. Nowhere Generation is an album described as anthems for doomed youth. Point blank, Rise Against have a statement about how the current generation is suffering and the future is not looking good due to many factors outside of the Nowhere Generation's control. This is not a happy, sunshine, feel-good album, but definitely something everyone is going to be able to relate to. In an interview with Kerrang, Tim McIlrath said, "What's happening globally to capitalism, progress, automation, and industrialization knows no boundary, border, or years. No matter what year you were born, you can very likely become the victim of growing social inequality, growing income disparity, or climate change. Those things know no birth dates. You may have better advantages depending on your gender or race, but for the most part, it will hit all of us." In that interview, Tim would also quote George Carlin with the saying, "You know why they call it the American dream? Because you have to be asleep to believe it." Has that quote been worked into a Rise Against song yet? Because I feel like it might have been. We got our first new Rise Against song in Broken Dreams Incorporated back in fall of 2020. This has the energy and speed I was looking for while getting a message about promised progress meaning nothing. Everyone in the band sounds on point with their performance. The bass roll leading into the Broken Dreams chant is memorable. Just under 4 minutes, but the song goes by fast. The title track was our first new Rise Against song in 2021, and I admit on first listen, this was stock Rise Against, by the numbers anthem statements, but the music didn't really excite or vary in sound. This almost felt like a bot was forced to listen to every Rise Against song and then make their own from what they learned. Not a bad song, but definitely a touch underwhelming. It was after the title track when the numbers was released that my fears of the album being more the same from Rise Against were mostly put to rest. This track has that fast punch to start off an album, and lyrically it feels strong while going with the theme of the Nowhere Generation. They have the power, we have the numbers. The riffs are strong, the different speeds work seamlessly, and Tim sounds great. Strong track. These are 3 decent songs that help show what the album has for people unfamiliar with Rise Against, and I think a song like The Numbers especially gave longtime fans something more exciting to look forward to. While the title track felt much like Rise Against standard fare, The Numbers helped correct that feeling, and the rest of the album fortunately did have more to talk about. Sudden Urge has a 2000s post-grunge vibe, but in a good way, the type that sounds cleaner and not with basic chords. It still has that Rise Against shine. Hearing the Like the 4th of July hook is a great note to end the chorus, and the rhythm section carries everything well through 4 minutes. Talking to Ourselves takes a moment to breathe in the verses. This song feels much more optimistic in tone while lyrically still applying to the overall theme. The chorus has a nice ramp up, but the verses do feel a step slower and the transition isn't always smooth. Decent track and good lines, however. Forfeit at the halfway point featuring acoustics is a good break from the energetic and faster opening. Not Giving Up on Someone Waiting Endlessly comes through strong, and the instrumental section is surprising to hear what's included. A nice surprise for sure, and it's something different. Monarch steps on the gas again, and the drum work comes in heavy and loud. The lyric writing of being beaten down at a lower class having skin like stone due to those above us does add to the narrative. It's a good album inclusion, even if the tone and speed are starting to sound a bit similar. Sounds Like has some nice guitar riffs from Zach Blair, who is an underrated guitarist. This is what it sounds like leading into a short breakdown, grabs your attention, and smoothly transitions into another build-up to the chorus. This song might be a hidden gem for some people and is another that goes by quickly due to so much happening. Sooner or Later has some great lyric lines about our shadows killing the flowers and our footsteps spoiling the land. We're always just in the way. Our generation is stuck and viewed as a burden. The chorus turns optimistic with Sooner or Later it'll turn around. Musically not as strong, but lyrically memorable. Middle of a Dream has more fire that the beginning of the album has. More strong writing and memorable lyrics that I think many will be able to relate to about waking up in a world that is not what anyone wants and trying to go back to sleep to find that better dream. That is really relatable right now. And finally, Rules of Play works with the line of life being a game, and no matter how we play, it's the game that decides who wins, not us. It's a decent enough closer with good closing statements. It's about frustration, about not knowing what to do, and how we all have to push forward. I enjoyed this album, and much of it did catch me by surprise, as I was fearing a by-the-numbers Rise Against album like the title track alluded to. There are definitely many similar concepts from past albums, but whether because it's been years since our last Rise Against album, or because Nowhere Generation really does target a specific audience and the messages hit home, it made the album sink in. I wish there was more time for Zach Blair to shine with his guitar work though, but admittedly that's a nitpick. The album is a grower and there's a lot to take in on first listen, but this album is well executed across the board and something worth blasting loud. It's cynical and optimistic. Just how most of us feel at any given time during the day. Overall, Nowhere Generation is a strong definition of current age problems while being another solid entry in the Rise Against discography. McIlrath and company succeeded at capturing the current woes of a generation stuck in neutral while engaging us with some speed and energy in the music. We might be going nowhere right now, but Nowhere at least isn't that bad to listen to. What did you think of Nowhere Generation? Leave a comment and let everyone know. Big thanks to my patrons and a special thanks to Brandon Barrettfeld, Chris Doman, and Dom Noble. You can have a say in upcoming videos and see videos early by supporting Rocked on Patreon. Please click the link in the video description for more info. Please subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos, and you can keep up to date with Rocked on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Using this end space, just a reminder that we're still doing New Music Night on Twitch every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, playing all the new music that dropped in rock, metal, alternative, and everything in between. Also, podcast is on Tuesday nights on YouTube and Twitch, so check that out and join the chat while the podcast is being streamed live. Thanks, guys, and let me know what you thought about the new album from Rise Against.